Brought to you by 1AAuto.com, your source for quality replacement parts and the best service on the internet.
Hi, I'm Mike from 1AAuto. I hope this how-to video helps you out. And next time you need parts for your vehicle, think of 1AAuto.com. Thanks.
In this video, we're going to show you how to remove and replace the window regulator, as well as it's the same procedure for the power window motor. And we'll do this for the driver's side front on this 2005 Nissan Maxima. Applies to any 04 to 08 Maxima, and it's basically the same procedure for the passenger side front as well. The tools you'll need are a flat blade screwdriver, 7 and 10 millimeter sockets with ratchet and extension, and some painter's tape.
Okay, take a small screwdriver. There's a little kind of trap door right behind your handle here. Pry that right out. Okay, carefully go up onto the back of your power switch plate here and pry up. And then this comes up and out. And you'll disconnect the harness here by pressing on a button. Buttons in the back, press and pull, and then this one, same thing, it's a little button, press and pull. Okay, take your screwdriver again, kind of pry in behind this panel here. Okay, this trim. Carefully, firmly pull it out. Trim pulls out.
Now there are 3 10 millimeter bolts to remove.
One right back in there.
One right back in there.
Right through there.
And then one right behind your door panel. Just speed up here as we just remove those 3 10 millimeter bolts. Again, one from behind the handle and then 2 from behind the pole.
Okay, once you remove those, then you can just kind of grab the side of your panel here, pull firmly. Okay, and then go up. And just pull out these cables, pull firmly away from the door, and then the cable comes up. Same one with here, firmly away from the door. And you just have to probably hold your lock button, pull the cable up and out. Then down further, there's just 2 connections. Same thing as the other one's little button. Okay, you just want to disconnect this connection. Use a small screwdriver, and there's little tabs that you just kind of push on each side that allow you to pull these clips out.
Fast forward here as I just remove all the wire clips so the wire harness comes away from that inner panel.
Then disconnect this as your window harness. Press this button, disconnect that. And now we're going to remove these 10 millimeter bolts around the perimeter.
And crank up the speed again as we just remove those 10 millimeter bolts that hold the panel to the door.
Now we're going to remove the 4 nuts that hold the regulator rails and the 3 bolts that hold the window motor. Okay, you push this plug through. this panel off. That reveals our window. There's 2 bolts right down here. I'm going to remove those.
And speed up as I remove those 2 bolts, and you'll notice I kind of hold the window up just to make sure it doesn't fall down.
And after we remove those, we'll lift our window right up. So we put some painter's tape on there just to hold the window up. And now you can get your non-functioning regulator out. And now on the bench here, you'd remove your window motor by undoing 3 8mm bolts.
And speed up here as I remove those 3 bolts.
Okay, now if your regulator is still in good shape and you're changing your power window motor, then you'll want to be very careful when you pull this out to hold the gear in, okay? And then if you're changing your window regulator and your motor's still good, when you get your new regulator, it'll have a wire tie on it. You'll want to snip that wire tie, hold that gear in there, put it down on the motor. You may have to turn it a little bit until the gear decides it wants to mesh. Let's see. Okay, and then put your 8mm bolts back in.
And speed up here again. So I put each bolt in by hand first, then use the socket and ratchet to tighten them up. And when you tighten them up, be careful not to over tighten them. You want to tighten them nice and firm, but you don't have to make them too tight.
Okay, now you want to take the motor, turn it over, and then you want to put your panel on top here. The regulator studs through. Okay, and then position the motor so you can see the holes. I'm going to start in these bolts for the motor.
And basically what you want to do here is you're bolting the motor back on, and I'm just kind of speeding through this. Put all 3 bolts into the window motor by hand first, then tighten them up nice and firm, and then you want to put the nuts that hold the window regulator rails to the panel. You want to put those on just by hand, and then put the harness through and lock that plug in place.
Okay, now take your panel, put it up in. Make sure the top, the rails go inside the door. Lift it up. Make sure our harnesses don't get tangled up here. Might have to reach back a little bit, make sure that the regulator goes in there correctly. Okay.
Okay, and now I'm going to obviously speed up as we put those bolts back into the perimeter of the door panel, tighten them up, and then also tighten up the nuts that hold the window regulator rails onto the panel, as well as just do a quick check on the motor to make sure those are tight.
Now you can put all these back. Okay, remove or pull back these 2 covers, and we're going to reconnect our switch plate here. Okay, now we're going to turn our key and we're going to run our window up. Okay, right till we can see the hole that we're putting the bolt in right through here. Shut the key off. Okay, now I'm just removing the tape from my window. Okay, carefully let my window down. Make sure you kind of keep the back pressed into the track. And then the window should make contact with the regulator. Press it down into the regulator. And then take your bolt into your extension. Where's my back started, so I'm just going to start a bolt in there. My front, I just have to pull out on the regulator a little bit. And now it's settled right down in. So put this bolt in. Tighten it up. And this bolt. Firm. Push those covers back down. Just turn our key on. And then do a test. Is working well. Now I'll remove your switch again. Okay, reinstall the door panel, get it kind of close, and plug in our harness connections down here. And make sure they're clipped in. Okay, now up here, the one with kind of the L-shaped goes on top, that's your lock. It just goes into a little hole. Goes down in the hole, and swing it around. Okay. This one goes in the hole, swings around pretty easily. Make sure these harnesses go up into that well there. Okay. Press the panel against the window, slide it down into place. Okay, make sure you have our harnesses. Line up the pins. Right around.
You'll speed up here as we reinstall those two 10mm bolts behind the door pull.
Okay, connect our switch panel. Put the front down in first. And then lock the back in place. Make sure it all goes down. Put this panel into place. Bolt back in here. Okay, and put our little trim door
We hope this helps you out. Brought to you by www.1aauto.com, your source for quality replacement parts and the best service on the internet. Please feel free to call us toll free 888-844-3393. We're the company that's here for you on the internet and in person.